Nerd culture rise up. It could get elevated. Nerd culture rise up. It could get elevated.
Everything is
Nerdcore used to
awesome.
be just a made up word.
Everything is cool when you're talking about Brickfest.
Brickfest.
Brickfest with Banner.
Yeah.
And I guess Kasig.
Well, I went.
That's true.
Mhm.
So, welcome to everyone, guys.
What are
Maybe
we?
I should get a nap. Welcome to Every Man's Guide to Nerddom, where we are two 30 to 40 something year olds who talk about pretty much whatever we want. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle, and you guys should join our Discord. Actually, I'm not going to even recommend it. I'm going to say do it. Join the Discord. Links in the show notes down below. If you don't know what Discord is, it's... Oh, hold on. Go to the below. Down below. Down below. Down below. Discord's
I am
free.
off today.
Awesome free little program where our community all gets together and connects and talks about things, everything from movies to anime to comic books to video games to Legos to Funkos to whatever you want to talk about. There's topics in there for it more than likely, and you can find fellow like-minded nerds to discuss and or argue these things with. Both things end up happening, but in a cordial and professional manner mostly. So check that out. It's free. It's awesome. Also, if you'd like to hang out with Chris and I live and in person, we stream on Twitch, as does our guest. We'll talk about it in a moment. Chris is over there in Guyver Unit 01, GUYVERUNT 01, and myself is KSIG, K_SIG. We play pretty much every Friday and Saturday night. Community games on Friday night, like Pummel Party and Gang Beasts and things of that nature. Spooky Saturday, we try some indie horror games, find out which ones are good, which ones are still needing some work, and which ones are just amazingly fun. We run the gamut. We do the stuff so you don't have to. You can watch us do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
we do a lot of those. I find a lot of those ones before the big streamers do.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
good streamers. I will take credit for that one.
We do it first.
We do it first. Give us money.
Guyver suffers so you don't have to.
That's true.
Check it out. It's a good time. It's a good time. And then occasionally we stream through the week, time permitting. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I don't know. Life happens.
Mm-hmm.
I had to run this last week. I was able to a few nights, and then now I'm tired. I'm still feeling it from those late night streams through the middle of the week. I knew better, but I had fun.
As long as you had fun. I just couldn't. I just had no energy.
Mm-hmm. And our guest down below us also streams. Who we got with us? Christopher.
We've got Mr. Banner. Banner is back. Last time Banner talked with us about Funkos, which is still one of our more fun episodes, I think.
Yeah.
Because I still have people come up and go, I started collecting Funkos because of you guys' episode.
Awesome.
And I'm like,
good to hear.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. And then he go, Banner, why don't you tell us what your handle is on Twitch so that way people can find you. We'll also put a link down below.
So,
and he does he's been doing Lego streams lately.
Yeah,
I have, and I've actually gotten quite a bit of traction with it, surprisingly.
Nice.
So as Chris said, yes, I do stream. I'm at twitch.tv/banner 2_gaming, and that's my channel.
Yeah, so check it out. He's been doing lots of Lego stuff. Like the maker stuff and that type of thing seems to like really grab people because it's so chill because you can just sit and you can kind of listen, get some cool music going, and watch somebody build something. I know like you've had some success with doing that. Breacher, Fly Fishing Vet, he's done with his like woodworking stuff. Like I know a lot of people have been doing like maker things and hobby things and wood, making stuff with wood or putting things together with Legos or opening, Pokemon set. All these things are like, it's crazy the amount of people that watch it. And I get it when I start watching them because I get sucked into it too. It's like, oh, what's he going to get next? Ooh, is he going to put that brick there? Put that brick there. Yeah, put that brick there, Banner. Put it there good. Snap it in place.
Ooh, put it there for daddy.
Yeah. You put that 2x4x2 right where it needs to go.
Yep.
Right for daddy.
So let's before we get into the event thing that we're talking about, like what have you been building? Let's tell us what you've been building on stream.
So I've been building Star Wars sets. As you can kind of see in the background here, I've got a few of them built. It started out, honestly, I wanted to build the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then it's just spiraled out of control from there. With some moderate control. So I've built the Millennium Falcon. I actually started the stream out with Luke Skywalker's X-Wing fighter. That was my very first Lego build on stream.
Which was awesome.
Which was a lot of fun. And then the next one I did the Millennium Falcon, and then I kind of went to the dark side a little bit and built a TIE bomber, a TIE fighter, Boba Fett's starship, and then the big one in the corner over there is the Inquisitor's transport scythe.
That one looks cool.
I love that one. That one's probably one of the coolest ones, I think.
Yeah, that was a fun build, and you can kind of see on the table here, right here, I'm working on Cad Bane's Justifier from the last season of Clone Wars.
Yeah, which Casey has no clue what it looks like.
I kind of have a little bit of an idea because it's sitting right there.
Touche.
Ha!
Touche. And then what's the next ones you got coming up? Because I'm really excited about one of them. Well, this one too.
This one. So I've actually got 4 lined up. I got another set today, but the set.
Okay. Let's stop for a sec. He was just bitching to me earlier this week. He goes, "That's a lot of money. I can't drop all this money." And then every time I've talked to him this week,
I bought another
one. Like, and this is not a joke. I'm not kidding. Every time I've talked to him, he'll message me, "I bought another one."
Yep.
I bought another one, which is not a bad thing. That's the whole purpose. If it's your hobby, cool.
Yep. And I'm having a ton of fun doing it. What's better than to sit here, play with Legos, let other people watch me playing with Legos, and get to listen to some really good music at the same time.
Yeah.
Because while I'm streaming, I'm using the Star Wars music in chronological order from episode 1 all the way through.
Oh, cool.
It's like
awesome.
It's like a 37 or 38 hour long playlist of music.
Which I honestly enjoy hearing. Like Lily and I will both bring up Banner stream when we're watching TV in bed. And once in a while I'll go in there and I'll talk to him. But I'll just be listening to the music too and just keep it up. It's very relaxing. It's just, and then I'll get bored with whatever we're watching. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch Banner for a bit, give him some grief.
And I appreciate the grief. I mean, Legos has been fun building it on stream, and it's what helped me make affiliate. So I finally got to make the affiliate mark, and the community as a whole helped. So you can't go wrong.
You made affiliate. The community didn't. You did it on your own.
Their support helped a lot. But you were asking about builds. So like I said, I've got 4 lined up. And one of them, you know who you are, Chof. If you don't show up for it, you're banned.
Yeah, Chof.
But I've got Luke Skywalker's Land Speeder, which is one of those signature series of sets. You haven't seen it yet, have you, Kasich?
No, I have not.
It's awesome.
I want to see this. Oh, ooh. Okay, I did see one of those at Brickfest over the weekend, and I did not even want to go see what the price was on it. But I guess maybe they would have been a little bit better there if we figured out some pricing things earlier.
And then for Guyver, I bought an ATST, and then I've also got the Mandalorian's Starfighter or Starship.
Nice.
And then the one I bought today, that's going to be a special build, because I'm not going to announce what it is until the night I do the stream. But it is Star Wars related.
So how long is it usually taking you to, like, these bigger, like your Millennium Falcon back there? How long did that take you?
That took me 3 streams. So about 2 hours each stream. So about 6 hours. Yep.
I like that you get the theme going.
You know, and that's been the longest one so far. The next closest one would be the Inquisitor's Transport Scythe, which took about 3.5, almost 4 hours.
I need to
It
get
was
another,
awesome though. It was so much fun.
another big set and just start building. But
Yeah,
me
no.
being like full chaos, like, you know, I am with, you know, thanks to Guyver with the, you know, the sound alerts or something, I would probably have some random like donation biddy goal or whatever. It's like bust this build and start over. And I'm like, nah, but okay, we'll do it. And then,
Oh, so okay, so it's funny that you bring that up. So when Guyver's been in chat,
Mhm.
I keep getting the throw it across the room comment, or as
I
a
want to
friend of
see it
mine,
fly.
yeah, he wants to see him fly.
I want to hear him go. Boom.
And then we all know him, Infamy Tony. He wants me to stick an M80 in the Millennium Falcon and blow it up.
see, that's even more brutal because then you're going to warp pieces. They're not going to go back together.
Yeah, you know, chucking it across the room is one thing, but I'm putting the time into building them. I'm not going to chuck them across the room. You know, make it fly by the camera. I can kind of make that happen.
Oh yeah, you can.
You're gonna see, yeah, you're gonna see my hand carrying across the screen. But actually, you know, the cool thing is, so
Oh, it's making me nervous. Oh god, I thought they were all going to come off the top shelf.
so the Boba Fett chip, actually, you can carry it around, and
Oh, it's got a little hook.
yeah, it's got a little hook on the back that you can around.
It only counts if you make the noises, though.
Yeah, well, I'm not very good at making noises, so
So what kind of spurred us with this idea? One, Banner's been doing
See him
these.
throw it and goes. Zzz.
You also have to make the explosion noise when it hits.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
So Banner's been doing these cool builds, and then this last weekend at the Cox Convention Center in Tulsa, I went with my brother and then my son and his boy. We all went to Brickfest. Actually, Brickfest
Wait,
Live.
no, hold on. Back up.
Back up.
You said you went.
Yep, it's me and my son, my
Okay,
brother and
okay.
his son. Yeah.
Okay. Because it sounded like, because you went so fast, it sounded like you said, I went with my son and his boy. I'm like, your boy has a boy? That's what it sounded like.
I kind of mushed it all together there. Yeah,
you
that
did.
was on.
That's why I'm like, hold on. Is there something you want to tell me?
So it looks
Grandpa?
like, looking at their list here. So they were just in Tulsa. And
What is Brickfest? Let's start off slow for people.
So Brickfest is, it's not labeled as Lego because I don't think they can. I think there's probably some legal
legalities.
stuff there because, and they had more than Legos there. But it's a convention basically. There's a lot of like local builders showing off their collections. So there's some cool old stuff. There's some really massive large builds there. There's some really cool like full-size scale model type builds. When I'm talking about those, I mean like statuesque looking things. There was a whole section that you walked through. There was like an Aztec warrior and like a Greek philosopher, and I think there's like a samurai, and these were all like true to size builds, like between 5 and 6 feet tall, and they looked awesome.
Which is awesome.
So there were these showpieces like that. There were some like almost like collector sets that you would go buy. These were full builds. They weren't like still in the box or anything like that. There were some custom builds and some original builds. But what was really cool, probably the coolest thing that I saw when I was looking at all, was how it was like, so, you know, you said there's like the big statuesque things and all that, but there was also one booth, a guy had a setup, and it was about 12 foot long, the whole scene. So he had recreated the scene from Mad Max when they're like, all the vehicles were like heading out. I think it was from Thunderdome, actually, when all the vehicles were like heading out to Gastown. And so he had every single vehicle in that convoy in order from the scene, going from the base to this is Gastown they were going to, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
And so all the vehicles there with all the little minis like hanging off, and like he just recreated that scene from the movie with Legos, and it was about 12 foot long. When I saw it, that I walked up to the end, I was like, that looks cool. That's kind of like Mad Max. And I keep walking by. I was like, that's more like there's the tanker truck. There's like it was all of it there. And like that is really cool. And it wasn't like super intricate, like the big statues and things. Those were extremely impressive. I just thought that was so cool because the thought that went into staging it all. And then there were some like large, like when you think of like model train sets and how things are laid out, there were some Lego cities kind of laid out like that. The cool thing they had was there were several booths set up, and basically all they were tables with a bunch of Legos dumped on them, and then the kids could go and like build whatever. And they had these like showpiece areas where they could take whatever they built and go sit it over there. And so there was like a Minecraft themed one, and there was one that was completely like it was all white, crystally looking bricks. And so it was cool seeing what people were making out of that, like almost like marble.
Yeah.
And then the glow in the dark station was a table with a black light over it with all these like translucent pieces that would glow green or orange or red or whatever. And the kids were building stuff on that. So there, like all the kids were flocking to that. Like we could have spent the entire time there. Our kids would have been happy just playing there. Like, well, we could just
Playing
dump a
with
bunch of
that.
Legos on a table and then we've been good. We didn't have to drive all the way up here for this.
So, building on that, the official definition of Brickfest, I looked at it, was the first convention for adult fans of Lego, referred to as AFOLS or AFOLS.
AFOLS, adult fans of Lego systems.
It's a little s.
Oh, little s, Legos.
Legos in the United States. The focus was to have fans bring their creations, often referred to as MOCs, my own creations, to display and share with fellow enthusiasts, like other conventions that offer workshops, presentations, special events, and challenges.
There was a lot of activities there. Like we didn't even get to all of them. We were there for like 2 hours. Didn't even see everything.
Was there people who were building like the giant ones there?
Not the giant ones. So some of the big set piece things, there were several of the booths that set up that people were just still sitting there like building things as people were walking by checking out their creations. I know the guy that had all the Avatar stuff, Blue People Avatar, not anime Avatar. Like he had, he had all these set up, and he was still sitting there building, and people were asking questions, and he was talking, as he was going.
Right.
There were some really cool, and you guys saw the pictures, and I posted those in the Discord. If you guys, like we said, if you guys aren't a member, join that. In the Lego My Legos section, there was a lot of like mosaic art. So you think of the one piece circular pieces, the ones that are super easy to lose and a pain in the ass to get off if you get them in the wrong spot. And so they were doing mosaic art with those for, a bunch of different colors, making full, like, they're probably like 18 by 24 inch portraits. And so there was like a Batman and an Iron Man, like all these cool little matrixy pictures, made out of those, art made out of those. They also had what they called the graffiti wall. So it was this giant 4-sided tower, basically, that had the flat panel on each side with buckets of Legos around, and kids were going by and like sticking things on and making, Lego graffiti. There's a bunch of like little Among Us characters made out of those. I don't know if I got any pictures of those or not. So the wall mural, they had a floor mural, which was really cool.
Yeah.
They also had derby races, which we didn't get to take a part of. We were wanting to, and we got to that.
How do you do a derby race?
So they had, so you think of like soapbox derby, or not soapbox, but Pinewood Derby, like Boy Scouts, you get the little car. And so they had that type of track set up, starts on the ramp and levels on down. But there were all these build stations where you had to build a little race car within certain parameters, and you had 3 minutes to build it. And then you would go race it against like 6 other people down the ramp.
So it's out of Legos.
But out of Legos.
Like, is it the little crappy Lego wheels, or did they give it were they actually pretty?
Looks like they had like a set like chassis. It's like, so here's the chassis, and you build off of
Sponsor
it.
us.
Yeah, no, not that chassis. I'm angry with them because they're not sponsoring us. But it looks like everybody was building off the same chassis because it had to fit in the grooves of the ramp, and then you would just kind of build, whatever onto it. But it was kind of cool. We didn't get to do it though because the line was long.
Okay, one of the things I'm looking at the Brickfest, I went to the shop. Banner, you got to get this one. I just think it'll look cool behind you. Is the Infinity Gauntlet?
I saw that.
It's only 590 pieces, so it won't take you that long. But I think it would look sweet with the rest of your Legos back there. So get it.
Well, and I was just checking the site too. Brickfest comes to my neck of the woods next month.
There you go.
So I may have to try to take the day off and go.
Go to there. Yeah. So let's talk. So this episode's going to be entitled Mr. Kyle Goes to Brickfest Live.
I went.
And he went. And we heard some of it. I want to hear more from this too. But I want to know from Banner, what is the draw to Legos as an adult? Because little kids love to stack stuff. Little kids love to build stuff. How does that translate to an adult? Like, why do you like doing this?
I get the enjoyment. I get to create something. Yes, it's a predetermined set, with an instruction booklet on how to put each piece on. But I get the freedom to express myself by building something. Is it
the freedom of building something, or is it like, does it take you back to like better times?
It brings me back to my childhood memories, man. Because it didn't start with Legos for me as a child. I started out with Lincoln Logs.
Same.
And you could build forts with them. You could do all sorts. Lincoln Logs and GI Joes were two of my favorite toys growing up as kids.
Yeah.
And then I got into Matchbox cars, things like that. And then as I got older, I think I was probably 8 or 9 years old when I started getting some of my first Lego sets that I can remember. And and two of my favorite sets, it was a Lego tractor drawn tiller fire truck, with the big ladder on it and everything. And then I had a Lego police mobile command unit that was tractor drawn. So the back of the semi trailer opened up and it had all the, gizmos and gadgets that you'd find and stuff like, sticker form, but it was there.
Mm-hmm.
But as an adult, as an enthusiast / collector, the collector part of me is, build it, put it up on a shelf and don't ever touch it again.
Right.
The enthusiast part of me is the fun in building it and now being able to share it on Twitch with everybody else. And they get the enjoyment of, seeing it being built, and
which is really cool. And
could help bring them back to some of their childhood memories if they ever, played with Legos or Lincoln Logs or Connects. Connects was another one that I had growing up. So
I always made shivs out of the Lincoln Logs.
In fact, Lincoln Logs taste funny because I remember having those when I was little, and like I was chewing on one. Like, man, that tastes really weird.
AKA last week.
Do they still make them? Can you still? I look for some.
They still make Lincoln Logs.
You can still get Lincoln Logs. They've got cooler Lincoln Logs now too.
I bet they're stupid expensive, like how Legos have become stupid expensive.
Yeah, well, and I think with the bringing of like Connects, they also got and they had it not just because of Connects, but the erector sets.
Yeah,
with all the steel beams, the little screw. I hated them little freaking screws and little nuts and washers. Good Lord. But I had a great time playing with it. I got to build stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the draw for me. It's
I'm on Amazon now and there is all sorts of Lincoln Logs. And it looks like Connects owns Lincoln Logs now, if they didn't before.
Yeah.
And they're still made out of real wood.
Made from real wood.
AKA, which could explain why the 328 piece set costs $60.
Uh-huh.
Well, here's some knockoff.
I'll tell you a
Lincoln Logs.
2x4 for $800 if anyone wants to buy that.
450.
Hey, you know,
piece
6 months ago,
knockoff.
you could sell that 2x4 for $800.
Yeah.
Still probably can to the right person. So, so here's 100th anniversary. Isn't that nuts to think that there is something like this? Like, how old's Lego?
Lego's old,
Oh,
and
I watched a documentary on them. There's a
90
documentary on-
years.
Is it 90?
Yeah, 90. So it is. And then how old is Lincoln Logs? It's nuts to me that Lincoln Logs were invented in 1916
well, and you know
by
that
John Lloyd Wright, the second son of Frank Lloyd Wright. I didn't know that.
Huh.
well, and you know that Lego's not a U.S. company, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Swedish?
It's Denmark.
Denmark.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I did not know
Yeah,
that.
they almost went under several times.
Yes.
That's right.
It's nuts to me that it's just a little bit older than Legos. And to me, it's nuts that, you know, little kids stacking, little kids wanting to build stuff. That's nothing new, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts to me that something like this was created that long ago, 90 to 100 years or more, and it's still around, and it hasn't changed very much.
The original brick is still pretty much. The bricks have changed over the years, you know, just by how they attach. But
Right. But it's still the same concept.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know, putting small things together to make a bigger piece.
Yep.
And to me, that's just kind of mind-boggling that it's still the same thing. Because it's like, you know, we know that you're not supposed to drink milk right out of the cow's udder anymore, and that's what they used to do.
You're not?
Well, Chof might. I think Chof gets under the teat and just puts his mouth on it.
Just suckles right from it.
That's what he does. You know, we're gonna get something. Why is everyone picking on Chof?
Especially on his birthday. We got to be nice to him today.
Happy birthday, Chof.
Happy birthday, Joe.
I don't know. To me, it's just kind of neat that something can stand the test of time, and it hasn't changed that much.
Okay,
So that's just my point.
Here's something I'm finding because you know I was just kind of griping about this, and this is some older data about like you know the price of Legos going because to me it seems like they're a lot more expensive than they used to be in my head.
Oh,
So
yeah.
tell me about it.
So there's a chart here I found that shows the price per piece of Legos over the years going back to 1980. So in 1980, the price per piece was about 29 cents per piece and has slowly tapered off down to a little over 11 cents per piece. That was at 2013. I haven't seen anything. I can't find anything new here. So maybe we're getting more pieces, more intricate sets. I don't know, but it just really seems anecdotally, it feels like they've been getting more expensive, but apparently not.
The price of the sets are definitely a lot more. Piece count, like the land speeder, that's 2,000 pieces. So what is that at 11? If it's 11 cents per piece,
Looking a little over $200.
That's still nuts how expensive they are now.
yeah, $220. So I mean that's fairly accurate because that right in the ballpark range of what the land speeder costs.
Yeah.
So
that's what I guess that's how you'd have to look at it, the price per piece. I like what you said about the nostalgia thing of it. That's what every time we went to the convention thing and that kind of sparked it. I've seen some of your builds and that kind of gets it going. I sit here talking about like, man, I miss my cool little Legos that I had back in the day. Like I still have a bucket somewhere and I know it has some pieces from the late 80s and early 90s still in it. Because that's just where they all ended up after many disassemblies and reassemblies. And I think there's like a half of the hull of a pirate ship in there and like the old pirate ship from like early 90s probably. That was one of my favorites one. Like I had the pirate ship, I had the castle with all the little knights and their weapons. And it just makes me want to like fire them up and start building something random again.
So we're talking about the nostalgia. Okay, so Kyle, talk to us about how little man, your youngest, talk to us about through his eyes and his cousin's eyes, like when you guys got there.
Okay, so they were both super amazed. As soon as we walked in, the first thing you saw was the giant Steve from Minecraft. Like that was the centerpiece as you walked in, with a bunch of with a table around it where people were building Minecrafty type things to put around this, like looks like an altar to Steve. He thought it was really cool. Like but both of them were more focused on, like, they wanted to go, they saw these giant tables with piles and piles of Legos on them, and like they were instantly drawn to that. You know, I was wanting to look at the sets, and there were some cosplayers there. There was like the local Tulsa division of Rebel Alliance or whatever it is. There's
was it the 501 there?
Yeah, 501 was there. And so they were doing like a little fundraiser where you could pay some money and you gotta shoot the stormtroopers with a Nerf gun, which was kind of cool. And so there's all these other really cool, probably more like adult themed things to look at, like that we would like to see as grown-ups. Like, oh, look at all this cool stuff they built. They just wanted to play with the giant Lego piles, you know, and they're both 7.
Which is all they wanted to do.
Yeah, and they appreciated some of the littler thing or some of the set pieces and things like that, but just for them to see that there were just so many Legos that they could just go and play with, that was their thing. And it was interesting watching both of them build, because my nephew was very intricate about what he was doing, like very, and because he builds all the time.
Mm-hmm.
My little guy doesn't as much, but so my nephew was like very purposeful, like everything he was putting together, and you can see he was thinking it out. And then my little guy's like, I made a gun, you know, let's go put it on the thing and go look at more stuff. I'm like, okay. You know, so it was cool seeing how those two built, and then watching all these other kids and how they were building, and then parents, you know, so a lot of dads around my age, like totally taking over the table from the kids, like, no, we got to put this here and this here, like, and taking over the builds, because that's what we do, because we wanted to build something too. Like I ended up having to give up my spot grudgingly to a kid so they could actually play at the table. I'm like, I wasn't done with my a radio tower yet. I had a whole thing going. So but through the eyes of the kids, like, well, just all the kids there, like there was not a single unhappy kid in the place until you went to the merch shop.
And then they wanted everything.
And there were a lot of very unhappy kids. You know, I was talking about before the show, I was telling Banner, like, I thought some of the set pieces and stuff were overpriced until I really got to looking at them. Like, okay, well, maybe they did have a better deal on certain things there, because they did have the little foil packs of minis, right? Buy one mini, mystery mini. And I got sticker shock when I went to pay, because I got one for my son. I told him to pick out one for his nephew, or for his cousin, to give to him as a little gift whenever he came back from whatever it was he was doing. And it was like 20-something bucks, including tax. Like, oh my God, these are just minis, you know? But there is a whole thing behind those. Like, people collect Legos, but then people also specifically collect minis.
Yep.
Displaying them in certain ways. And that, I could see where that could be a rabbit hole that you could go down really quick, because minis are cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're basically all the same and all different. Like, same for the most part, same little round head, same hands, all that. But just the variety of minis, that's what's crazy. And so you seem to be more like a big set collector, but do you have certain minis that you're like, yeah, these are the cool ones?
With the sets that I have now, I don't have any, you know, in particular minis that I'm really that ecstatic. I mean, I'm happy that I've got, you know, Darth Vader, I've got Luke Skywalker, I've got Princess Leia, I've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, I got Ben Kenobi. You know, I got some of the cool figures, you know, for with the Star Wars sets. But like you were saying, back in the younger days, you know, you had the medieval sets and the pirate sets. Those are some of the ones that I wish I still had, because those minifigures had a lot of character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wasn't, you know, what's the word description I'm trying to find, streamlined as they are today. You know, and today I think, you know, the expressionism that the faces give off on today's minifigures are a lot different than I think that I remember from the earlier years. So, and I just realized that out of the set that I'm building now, that Omega is the first minifigure that I have that doesn't have movable legs.
Oh, is it because she's smaller?
Yeah. So
Is she just a kid?
that's Omega, and the legs are fixed. They don't flex like your typical minifig. And then you get, like this one, the legs are obviously bigger or long, not bigger, but longer.
Right.
But
Is that Hunter?
I believe that's Hunter, yeah.
It looks
But
like
the
Hunter,
legs,
yeah.
the legs are, you can flex them. And I just now realized that they were different. And I started building the set 3 days ago.
That's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
See, okay, so you got me looking now. I'm interested because not for me, but for my youngest, my 6-year-old, because right now she's getting all her kinetic sand and she's making experiments and putting water in it and glitter and all this other crap. And it's a big mess. And she loves to explore, do stuff like this. So now I'm like, maybe I could do like Legos or something, have her build something.
Well, and that's a good thing about Legos is it doesn't stray to a gender line, if you want to put it that way. It goes both either side.
So if this sounds funny and spliced together, it's because it is.
I messed up.
Kyle forgot to clean his drive, and it's a dirty drive.
Dirty little drive.
So dirty.
We ran out of space.
He ran out of space. So we are going to have to splice this part together. And that's why it may sound funny.
And if you're here right now, we've already spliced it together. So
welcome back.
Welcome back.
But yeah, so okay, so we were talking about the difference between size and how size doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's where you put it.
Exactly.
Wait, what?
Where you put the little figures.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay. Never mind.
About.
I was lost.
Dirty.
I was so lost.
Okay, so Omega doesn't move because she's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter moves because he's bigger. Have you encountered any other sets that are like that?
I've encountered some differences in some of the sets. Like, I've got, I don't know where he's at right now, but I've got R2D2, who is not your traditional minifig.
Right.
And I've got a couple of other little droid bots that are not they're classified as a minifig, but they're not your classic minifig style. Right. Actually, I got one with the Millennium Falcon, and I've got another one somewhere else. Like this little guy, when I built the TIE bomber, it's classified as a minifig.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, but it's not a minifig. It's bricks that and you put it together, but it was classified on the box as a minifig.
Huh.
And I forget the name of it now, but it came with the TIE bomber set.
So we're talking about some of their custom stuff and things that can be made. And like what Chris was saying earlier, these types of episodes always inevitably ends up with us like shopping online. And I'm checking out,
and we buy shit we don't need to be buying.
We don't need to be buying. And I think I really want a custom order from their mosaic maker. Have you guys looked at that?
I was starting to look at it.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. So the mosaic maker, you kind of upload a photo and they automatically give you, the layout of what to put where, and they're the little 1-bys that oh my god, they look so cool. To make a little portrait. And I guess what are they? They're probably like 40 by 40 maybe, or 50 by 50. but you upload the little image or your image, and yeah, you get this mosaic look to it. It was so cool.
That's okay. Yeah, I've actually seen like they had a. I think there's a Mona Lisa one in there.
Yeah, but these you get to do your own picture, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
So you could get a Lego mosaic EGTN logo.
that's cool.
I may have to do that.
So what I'd love to do is a follow-up episode of this, maybe for next week. Hopefully he's back by then. I want to get Stitch, aka Ben,
Yep.
on here with you, Banner.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can talk about builds and like what you guys do on the builds. Like I know you're talking about it now, but like have it with someone else who's done it also, because he just got done with the Executor.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Executor, wasn't it?
Well, he got
The Imperial Star Destroyer.
yeah, and that was
And that was a huge one.
took him what 2 weeks or something like that to
Yeah, he
build
said
it
2
on and
weeks.
off.
I'd love to do a follow-up on this. So Kyle.
Yes. I'm sorry. I was looking at mosaic
No, you're
stuff. Like, I don't know what I was
so
making.
we were talking about the eyes of a kid. Tell us about your brother while he was there.
So my brother was also a big Lego guy when we were younger. He was just kind of taking it all in. Like he wasn't like super impressed by all. I mean, if he was, you couldn't really tell. He's pretty stoic about like everything in general. I think he was just more psyched to have something for the kids to do and like a cool memory for the boys to have together, because we live a pretty good ways apart. It's like not where we can just easily pop in and just see each other all the time. So
Same state though.
yeah, same state. So if we get to do stuff together, that's almost always pretty cool. So I think that's really where he came from on it.
But he had a good time then. So
he
was
had a good
enjoying
time.
himself, but he was just
Yeah,
he's as Indian as they get, just stoic.
just stoic. Yeah, that if we were more native, then yeah, but we're not. But yeah, I knew where you were going with it.
Yeah.
I picked it up exactly. Some people from our state will not get that, but it is a thing.
Yep.
But
It
yeah,
is the thing.
It was a good time though. I mean, I'm glad we got to go. It rekindled me and thinking about Legos now. Hey God, I don't really need to be spending money, but I am seriously just sitting here looking at like the mosaic thing. Like that might be something I end up doing.
Well, maybe we should all go to New York and stay at Legoland.
Legoland.
I went to
Legoland.
the Lego store in Times Square.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I went last
The
time.
Lego, the big Tyrannosaurus Rex built out of Legos. Phenomenal.
I think I was there.
How big was that?
It was every bit of probably 40 to 45 foot tall.
Holy crap.
How many Legos do you think that was?
At least
You're
7.
At least
Oh,
7.
the big ones?
Yeah, at least 7
At least 7
million.
of them.
That was really cool seeing that one.
That's cool. So maybe we should do that. So Kyle's talked about his experience. Banner's talked about his experience. And now I think we're getting sidetracked because we're all online shopping for Legos.
Possibly. Allegedly.
Allegedly. No, that's
This
what
is not
happens
going to
when
be
we do
like
these
the Funko
episodes.
episode.
Yeah, this is what we do on these episodes. So what is your favorite memory about Legos? Current or past?
Favorite memory about the Legos.
I'll start. What you guys think? I'll tell you what my least favorite memory is stepping on the damn Legos.
That's very recent memories as well.
That's a very recent memory
And
as well.
I'll tell you, like me and my mom we've got bad arches on our feet. One of the exercises the doctors had us do was pick up Legos with our toes and put them in a bucket to help with that.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah, dead serious.
I don't even like
Kyle,
then you're
you go because
Yep. So you're doing those on purpose. I don't even I hate it by accident. I don't know. I probably I'm trying to think of like one of my favorite like Lego memory things. I think mine probably would have been when I completed, because I had that castle, and when I completed that, like that was one of my first like bigger builds that I actually did start to finish. And I don't think it was even a full castle now that I think back on it. It had a lot of really large pieces in it, but it wasn't a full on castle.
It wasn't Eureka's Castle.
Nope. I missed that show.
You can
Is it on
watch it.
Nick Jr.? Like
It's
rewatch?
on yeah, it's on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. There we go.
They have all the old Nickelodeon shows. Maybe that's a good episode to talk about the shows of our childhood.
I think Nicktoons is on our list.
I think it is too.
Mhm.
All right, Banner, what's yours?
Recent memory is stepping on one.
Yep.
They're oh so much fun to step on.
Yep.
Now I know what my parents were always talking about, you know,
And why they
up.
got pissed.
Yep. My favorite memory is back to my childhood, building some of my sets with my dad. And you know, my dad sadly passed away in 2013, so building the sets that I have now brings those kind of memories back.
So did you build a lot with your dad?
Mm-hmm.
Like, was that you guys' thing together or one of them?
That was one of the things that we did together. We built Lego models. We built model cars, you know, the plastic, like the AMT model cars, like PC Nerd built on a stream a couple months ago.
Right.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so that's kind of one of the things, you know, I get to have that memory of building sets, and I just imagine that dad sitting here building a set with me, or building his own set, or whatever.
Did
That's
he
really
build a
cool.
set while you were doing a set, or did you guys work on the same one?
We would work on the same sets sometimes, or same like sets. Like if I was building a fire truck, he was building a fire truck of some sort. You know, because I was
build your own little force.
Yeah, we were building our own little forces, and even back then, you know, well, back then I used to play with them, and I played with them hard, so they would get, you know, wrecked or destroyed or whatever, and then Dad and I would rebuild them and start all over again.
That's awesome, dude. It's that's the kind of memories that stick with you like forever, and I think that's why a lot of this stuff, like Legos especially, is the nostalgia piece of it. Like, it brings you back to a happier time.
Yeah.
Except for Kyle.
For sure. Yeah, I have no happy times.
No,
I just have time.
just look at him. Aloha.
This is you're just trying to maintain. I like that, you know, Connie. It's awesome that you and your dad had that. You were talking about, like, Chris asked if you guys like built them together separate, and you said sometimes together. I could not imagine trying to build a set together with my dad, like us working on the same one, because I remember trying to work on a motor one time together, and I couldn't imagine us trying to figure out who was doing what piece at this. Like, some shit was going to get broke if we would have done that. I think
A lot of the times it was Dad would search out the pieces, and he'd hand the piece. He'd have like the booklet or the instructions or whatever, and he'd find the piece and hand it to me and say, okay, this is where this one goes, or this is where this one goes. Or if it was like, nowadays you got all the Technic stuff in it. I don't remember a whole lot of like Technic style stuff, you know, with the beams and all that stuff that we have that I'm dealing with now. But the more complicated stuff, Dad would, you know, okay, this is how this is going to go together.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, what is the Technics?
So Technics are, for those that are watching the YouTube video, you get to see, but those that are listening. So Technic bricks are the bricks that use the little pins and locks, and the bars are, they're Lego bricks just without the studs. They got the holes in it instead of studs. So as you can see here on the justifier, kind of hard here but you got like the blue blue pins. You know, you got some red ones sticking out, but they create junctions where you wouldn't ordinarily be able to create a junction. So they use the studs and the bricks to create the junctions,
which is really cool.
And they also allow for movement. So with the Technic bricks, you can get movement out of them.
Is that how like the bigger figures, like with you can move their arms and stuff?
Some of them, yes.
They're more articulate.
Yes, you can get range of motion out of it. The Technic sets, you can actually put power to them. So like they have Lego Technic cars.
I
you can actually
those from being younger too. Like when they first came about, and that was so cool. Like you can motorize your Legos.
Yeah, and you put a little battery powered motor in it, and you can drive around,
which we would inevitably wreck because you have to. Anything that can break, you want to break it. In the greatest fashion possible. We didn't glue our pieces.
No. Who glues pieces together?
Yeah, who uses the Craggle?
Yeah.
Chove. Okay. So I think a good thing to throw in towards the back end of this is, so we've talked about bricks, we talked about the festival, we talked about our sets and our memories and things like that. There's a lot of other stuff outside of just building that Lego has, and the Lego, like that different partnerships and things that they've done. I'm thinking of the movies and the video games and things like that. So do you guys, and I've got some too, a favorite thing that's Lego that's not involved with actually building with Legos?
Like that's Lego based, but it's not that we didn't build it.
That's not. So like mine, one of my favorite Lego things of all time is the Lego Batman movie. So going like along that route.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm with you now.
Like the games and stuff were awesome. The Lego Star Wars games are some of the best Star Wars games I think that there are. And so like I love like Lego Batman movie is one of my favorite Batman movies. That's like one of my favorite Jokers was Zach Galifianakis's Joker in the Lego Batman movies. I thought he was great. So do you guys have something? Because there's been so many games and movies and TV shows,
just that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff. The extracurricular activities of Legos.
Oh, I will tell you that I can tell you just right off the bat, one of my favorite things was this year's Lego Christmas special, Star Wars Christmas Lego special on Disney Plus. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. But probably the thing that stands out most to me is, I want to say when we went to Disney in June, it was in Disney Springs. They had I want to say there was a Lego store there, or I might be getting another trip we took mixed up, but they had like giant Legos outside, like gigantic, like a full size,
like Duplos,
and yeah, Duplos. But they had a full size Hulk, and like, you know, because Hulk's 9 feet tall or however tall they said. Well, it depends on which Hulk it is. But and they had like a T-Rex, and they had Star Wars, they had stormtroopers, and it was just really cool getting to see my kids' faces like that. And then me getting concerned, it's like, how the hell do they keep this from getting like
destroyed?
And sun bleached, and it's the weather hits it. You know what I mean?
They're probably coated somehow. I wonder. So I know the statues that I saw at Brickfest, they were not sealed in any way because some of the pieces were broke off of a couple of them. But it just makes me wonder if there's some type of like, because you can get, you know, aerosol spray adhesive stuff that dries clear and all that. If after they build stuff like that, if they just start spraying them down to at least hold them together a little bit more.
Rain-X.
Because like they're not super gluing each individually, and then how they come up with the design, like how do they know how to build those? Because they can't be free-handed. Like I seriously doubt they can be free-handed. But when you look at how the things are layered in these larger pieces, it's almost like how you watch as a 3D printer prints something off. You know, layer at a time, layer at a time, layer at a time, layer at a time. And so if they have now, you know, I probably could have researched this and actually have an actual answer. I'm going to now. I'm really curious if there's just a program where they can dump in like, hey, we want to build this figure, and it can start laying out layers and things to start piecing together, because God, that's got to be expensive when you look at how many
How
Legos.
much they're doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it's interesting to me.
No, I think it's great.
What's your
Banner, what about you?
yeah, your non-bricky thing?
I'd have to say the games. Like one of the first Lego, non-Lego build things that I did was play Lego Marvel Avengers, I think it was.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Because you're playing a video game as a Lego character.
Yeah.
And you get some building in it because you got to break stuff apart to build something else that you need to complete a certain task.
Yeah.
And it's
Those
a
little
ton of fun. Yeah.
Parts. Yeah.
Yeah. And those are a ton of fun.
I think the Indiana Jones ones were the first ones that I played that were Lego based, and that may have been on the Wii, or it may have been on PlayStation. I don't remember. I think the Indiana Jones games were one of the first ones that I played. And
I remember those
Mhm.
with the big boulder, your little Lego legs trying to outrun it.
It was something like, it would seem like those games would, like, they were, again, really self-aware. Like, yeah, these are recreating the movies in video game form, but we're using Legos.
Right.
But there was just enough of that humor, just like what you're talking about, like when their little legs are going and stuff like that, that just it was hilarious. Even in the serious scenes, it was like stupid hilarious. I loved those games. Now I want to play some more.
You just may go do that now.
I got too much to do still.
So, well, as we're wrapping up here, Kyle, what would you say with the Lego? Oh, not Lego, but Brickfest Live.
Uh-huh.
What would you leave people with?
I would say if you had ever played with Legos at all as a child, if you have any minute interest in this at all, to go, because the price is cheap. It's like $20 for a ticket. Okay. And so super cheap to go to. There's like VIP tickets for some other stuff. We didn't splurge for that. But especially if you have kids and this goes anywhere near you, take them to it. Even if it's just for a couple of hours, because the amount of joy that they get from just seeing a table full of Legos and just getting to be a kid. In, like, there was a Lego pit, like a giant inflatable pool thing that had like 200,000 Lego pieces in it. Didn't throw my kid in there, but a lot of people did, and I could see, like, as a kid, like, I would have went nuts. Like,
I didn't throw my kid in there.
well, one, it looked like a torture pit, because that could not be comfortable at all. Like, I know how it feels to step on one. I couldn't imagine just like, it was like like old school McDonald's ball pit, but with Legos. And
Keep going. I just remembered something. It's a story from the summer in Vegas. I think it was that Lego pit. Keep going. I'm looking it up.
Okay. And so, but I would say, like, if you personally have an interest, or if you have kids that may slightly have an interest, take them to it. It was a great, super family friendly event. They're playing like Disney music in the background, and just the kids' eyes lighting up and getting to see all the cool stuff that, like, I would have loved it as a kid. I would have lost my mind being there. So I highly, highly recommend it. Worth the cost of admission, 100%.
Okay, it's not what I thought of. It was a foam pit. It wasn't a Lego pit. So never mind.
Okay.
They did they not have a Lego pit at your Brickfest? Because that was one of the things I was, okay.
Yeah, they did.
He said that's what he was saying. It looked like a torture pit.
Okay.
Yeah, like it looked painful.
Can you imagine just stepping on those hurt? Can you imagine jumping into that? It's like, my back, my back.
Ah, you come out and they're all, yeah. But it was really cool to see what some of these kids were building just out of just random pieces laying around.
And the adults.
And then taking my spot at the table, I didn't get finished building my stupid radio tower that was going to make me glow in the dark.
But you're not mad.
Not at all.
Not holding a grudge at all.
Not a bit.
Banner, what's something you would like to leave everyone with about Legos? Because this isn't technically a Lego podcast, but it is.
It's
I'd like to go more in depth with another one.
It's fun for all ages. From what, the Duplo blocks are for like what, 2 years up or 2 years old and older, and I'm 40 going on 41 still playing with Legos. So I mean, it's fun for all ages. Doesn't matter who you are.
Pup.
You little fella.
Little fella. Little
I'm
young
not the
fella
youngest
there.
one in the group though.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Barely. Actually, there's who's younger than
Props.
Techno.
Techno. Yep.
I think Techno's barely 30.
She's a baby. Oh, Sam's young.
Baby of
too.
our group. Oh yeah, it'd be Sam. But yeah, so if you guys have any interest in Legos, Banner streams on the reg.
Mhm.
Now.
I'm
Welcome
getting there.
back.
Yeah.
But his streams are super fun to watch. We will post a link down there. Yeah, go check it out. And there's a lot of people who do Lego builds on Twitch. If you just want to watch someone build Legos and that's your thing, go watch it. It's fun. Support those content creators who do that.
Relaxing.
It's super relaxing. It's
Until you can't find a piece.
it's almost as relaxing as watching Breacher or Vet build the flags. But his has got the hum,
Mhm.
that white noise. So there's a difference.
So you need to start humming, Banner.
Yeah, just
Okay.
start.
Click.
Okay, notice he said hum. Don't start moaning. Every time he clicks a piece in place, and then he gets a big piece in place, he goes.
No, you only do that when you're finished.
Yeah,
When you-
start
when you
doing that at
click
the
it-
end of each stream.
When you
Some
click in the
weird
last
ASMR
piece.
streams.
Yeah. Click in the last, please. You get
What happened? Banner finished, literally.
Finish. That one piece that didn't want to fit it finally got in there.
It's in
So,
there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in there now.
It's in there good.
So, well, with that, this has been Every Man's Guide to Nerddom. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle. And thanks again, Banner, for coming on the show. Always a pleasure. Love
Thank
having
you,
you
sir.
on.
Thank
And
you.
wherever you guys are, have a good evening, night, daytime, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And please be good to each other.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
See ya.
See ya.
It could get elevated. Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore used to be just a made up word.